Hey there folks, how is it going? Well, we are bringing another incredible chapter with the presence of Super Saiyan 4 and the beginning of a brand new arc. After a time skip and some time passing, two unknown visitors are heading to Earth. We arrive at a scene at Mr. Satan's house. The chapter begins with Mr. Satan coming out of some of his conferences, and he says that he is well. He says it is a necessary evil, and being champion is more than just a title. Android 18 says she takes care of it. We can notice the new look of 18, and also that Marin is already quite grown up. We go to West City where Goten is on a date. She says that she had never been to the movies, and asks Goten if they were not dressed too casual for it, and Goten says no, that they were just fine. Then we go to Orange Star High School, located in Satan City, and we realize that the students are needing to study, and one of the students asks where Pan is, and she answers that she is definitely coming. And we also see a new look of Pan, this time much more grown up, and we also see Trunks of the present, this time also much older, and the little robot tells him that he will have to participate in a conference tomorrow for the presentation of the latest hardware. And we also notice that he is with a lady in the ship that we do not yet know who is. Then the scene cuts to Kami-sama's lookout, where we can see Mr. Popo. Mr. Popo is carrying some flowers, and we realize that he is awaiting the return of Dende, who apparently went to visit his friends and his relatives there in Namek. But Mr. Popo says that he is not alone this time. On the next page we can see simply Piccolo, and he is meditating there at the lookout. So we go to the Roshi Mountain and we observe the house where Goku lives. She says, I wonder how those three are doing up there. Then we cut to a scene of Goku in Super Saiyan 4 with incredible design. So we see that there is a training session simply between Goku, Oob, and Gohan, and we see that both Roshi and also the old Kaioshin are not enjoying the fight very much. Goku says that he cannot get rusty and that he could not turn it on alone, but he knew that there were things beyond Super Saiyan 4. Then it cuts to Vegeta doing his training because now he and Goku had equal powers, and he refused to let Goku get ahead once more. The Warriors of Earth enjoyed these last years, but even while they enjoy this peace, the face of a long-forgotten past begins its descent to Earth, and we can see two people approaching the planet. Then we see Vegeta coming out of the gravity room, and Bulma says that he has not missed a day, so we can notice a new look of Bulma, and also the look of Bra. She throws a bottle of water to Vegeta, but a great noise comes. Bulma asks if it is an earthquake, but we see the arrival of two ships. Then we see first a girl. She has the scouter, and she comes out of the ship. From the other side comes out a guy, and he says picking up something, and she answers abundant life, a handful of readings of large units. And we can see that the two have tails, so they are two Saiyans. She is reading and notices that there is one key that is as large as Saya next to her, and she points to where, so he says to go there. She says for him not to go so quickly because he had just come out of the hypersleep, but he gets angry and says that he has already rested enough, so he grabs her and they go. Then Piccolo, Goten, and Trunks feel a very large key. All of them are startled, and we notice that Vegeta also feels it. He says, who is that? This is not Kakaroto. So he runs apprehensive and notices that they were going there. Then we see a Saiyan. He says it has been a really long time, Prince Vegeta. This Saiyan and Vegeta begin to face each other. Bulma and Bra are completely startled, and they ask him if he is some kind of friend of Vegeta. Vegeta is also apprehensive, and this Saiyan says, so it is you. When I first found out that planet Vegeta had been destroyed, I feared that you had perished along with it, but my heart somehow knew that you had survived. Now it really seems that fate has rewarded my faith in you. And Vegeta says, I think that I do not really know you at all. So both the woman and the man notice that Vegeta does not remember them at all, that Vegeta has a debt. Vegeta asks why he should pay since he does not even know who he is, and the Saiyan answers, yes you do. We have an unresolved history. Do you remember planet Palma? And Vegeta wonders planet Palma, and the Saiyan answers yes, the squad you released for that single mission on the night when a lonely child faced you. Do you remember the only time that a subordinate actually hit you? Then the scene cuts to a flashback from the past where Vegeta is humiliating this Saiyan. He tells him, let this be a lesson to you, boy. In your way, you may have strength, but you lack technique and grace. You will never ever be an equal of mine. Now you are where you belong under my boot. So Vegeta remembers. He says, now I remember. You are that black-tailed brat, the one I put in your place that night. You came here to settle a childhood fight, all because I beat you decades ago. The Saiyan answers that is part of it, but no, you have a life debt, and you are going to pay. Vegeta says he has no idea what he is talking about. What is a life debt? So the girl asks him to calm down deep down. So we realize that Bra and Bulma are very startled, so this is good. We notice that they are from Vegeta's family. He tries to attack them, but Vegeta protects. So the Saiyan says that Vegeta has really changed. And Bulma, as always, is not very satisfied, and she says you cannot arrive at someone's house and threaten them like this. So she tries to slap him, but the girl intercepts Bulma's arm. She says, touch my husband and I kill you. Then Vegeta says there is a deserted area not far from here. Whatever it is, we settle there. So he accepts. Let us remember that they are worried, so they go in the direction of that location. So we return to Kami-sama's lookout, and Mr. Popo does not like this. And Piccolo answers, neither do I, old friend. I feel an immense malice from that strange stranger. Popo asks what they will do, and Piccolo answers, watch for now. Vegeta is the strongest of us besides Goku. We would only get in his way. We see that they are flying to a new location. The series in Days of Family, I cannot say I was expecting this, and he tried to protect them. Perhaps he is bothered. The Saiyan answers it does not matter. The sins are engraved in history, and he will pay for what he did, even if it is the last thing I do, and she just looks sad for having been dismissed. A few minutes later, they finally arrive at the location chosen. Vegeta says that this will be enough, so they land and we see a face-off between the two Saiyans. Before starting, Vegeta asks the names of the two, and the two are surprised that Vegeta wants to know their names. Then a flashback appears from times ago where they were on a mission, and the Saiyan says, with all respect sir, I know that this is your first mission with us, but should you not at least try to learn the names of your squad companions? And Vegeta answers, why should I? So the Saiyan says some kind of joke, not believing in what is happening, and Vegeta says, you threatened my family in front of me. And Vegeta says, you threatened my family in front of me. You questioned my veracity. So he says that his name is Rigor and her name is Separi. So the two again face each other and prepare for battle. Vegeta does his classic fighting stance, and he also shows what his stance is. So Vegeta, I must warn you that I am much stronger than the last time we met. We do not have to. Then he is interrupted. So Rigor answers, that was the last time when you defeated an inexperienced child. We are no longer children. Do not hold back. When I crush you, I want you to know that there is nothing you could have done to survive. Vegeta looks and says it is a request you are going to regret. So he raises a lot of his ki. We notice that Vegeta is transforming, so he goes to his last stage, simply Super Saiyan 4, and raising the absurd ki that makes them worried. And Vegeta says, you are not the first to react this way to my power, but it is too late to surrender. He says, is this your best? Then allow me to repay. Then she tries to stop him and says, you cannot do that again. It will kill you, showing that she is worried and that he has a card up his sleeve. But he stays calm. He says, do not worry, I will not need that, and asks, tell me what is your power rating? So she takes the scouter and checks Vegeta's power rating, and she answers 20 million tani, and appears Kitane is a unit of measurement of ki from the natal world of Rigor and Separi. Rigor says 20 million, so this state will be more than enough, and he begins to change a little, and we notice that Vegeta is astonished, and Piccolo too, so he raises a lot of his powers. We see that he is also transforming. The ki of his shines throughout the whole place, so the trousers of Separi and Vegeta, and we realize that something has happened. Finally, he reaches a new state of power, something completely different. His hair becomes light, and his pupils become different. So we see Rigor's transformation, and appears next chapter, the true Super Saiyan. Chapter begins with the book looking at Vegeta, so he goes with everything. Vegeta looks quite surprised, so he realizes that Rigor is extremely fast, so he dodges his attack, but his attack breaks the whole ground, showing that he is extremely. So he exchanges blows with Vegeta, and the two are having a battle so far balanced, with Rigor now having a more serious expression, and Vegeta a more apprehensive expression, seeming to be pressured. So we see that Rigor's wife is defending just observing the battle, so Vegeta looks at her. He asks, what are you? Rigor answers judgment. So Vegeta moves away from Rigor and asks judgment for what? And he answers, do not play dumb, you know what I am talking about. So instead, Vegeta throws an attack trying to blow up Rigor, but Rigor does not feel threatened by the attack. He arrives on top of Vegeta and is able to strike and throw him far away. Vegeta then falls and Rigor approaches at high speed. Vegeta then charges an energy blow and tries to throw it at Rigor, but Rigor blocks with a punch. A great explosion appears, but from the middle of the smoke, it appears that nothing was shaken by Vegeta's attack, and he tries to punch him, but Vegeta dodges. What to do trapped? But Vegeta took an impulse and counterattacks, hitting Rigor for the first time with a blow to the face that appears here to us in two angles. So Vegeta tries to land another attack, but Rigor manages to stop Vegeta's attack. He realized that he was stopped and is surprised, so a blow with great force is returned to Vegeta's face, and Vegeta is thrown far away, showing that he is at a disadvantage in the battle. So Rigor looks and says, you used to hit harder when we were children, and Vegeta gets irritated. He says, is this a game to you? Rigor answers, no way, I did not tell you that I wanted you to know that nothing you do matters. Give me your best blow. So Vegeta says, you want my best, fine. And he prepares, so he charges his blow, an energy attack, completely prepared to use all the power of his Super Saiyan 4. So Vegeta takes his arms back and says, let us see how you handle this. So he gives his most powerful blow, the final splendor. So he gives a huge shout, and Rigor catches the rest of the final blow and gives a kick, throwing him far away, something that Vegeta is completely surprised by and says impossible. This leaves everyone surprised, including Mr. Popo and Piccolo. Piccolo says Popo get in contact with the Kaioshin. Goku needs to know this, and Popo says he will do it. So we see that Trunks also gets surprised, and the girl asks what the problem is, and he says this is difficult to explain. Even Goten is completely apprehensive because he is sensing the ki, so Rigor continues showing all his power, and Vegeta is completely apprehensive before the enormous dominance of his opponent in the battle, so he speaks, how is the sensation of facing a future You cannot change a destiny you cannot flee from, and Vegeta is completely terrified. And Rigor continues, do you know the feeling of knowing that for all your praise power, you are completely, totally powerless? Carry this weight for decades, haunted by your cruelty, tormented infinitely by what you did so much that I never managed to sleep without the visions. I do not remember the last time I slept at all. And we can see that under his eyelids, Rigor has huge dark circles. So Vegeta is surprised and asks, what is this? And Rigor questions himself what is what. And Vegeta says, you keep talking about this. I still do not know why we are fighting if it is not what happened on planet Palma that night. So what is it? What did I do for you to hate me so much? So Rigor makes an extremely sad expression and says, you really do not remember, do you? Then an old scene appears on the ship. Rigor now is inside this ship. On another ship is Separi. Then a line appears saying, I suppose I should not be surprised. After all, how many lives have you already taken? Without thinking twice, why would her death have been different? So we notice a scenery where Rigor is with his hands bleeding and some opponents around him. So Vegeta asks about her. So Rigor looks at one of his hands and says, decades ago, I made a promise, a life promise that you destroyed. So we see a Ceres woman with the scar on her face, Rigor with an expression of suffering. The next chapter continues, and between the two as well. So Vegeta asks, a life that I destroyed. Rigor confirms. He says it was 1 year after what happened on planet Palma. So he begins to tell my mother was an elite Saiyan. She worked with your father in Vegeta. Separi was living with us at the time I was in the infirmary healing a broken arm. My mother left for a mission of her own after I entered, but Separi was there to meet me after I left. We went home, stopping just enough to see Mom's friend along the way. We noticed that this friend is Gween, but when we arrived home I knew something was wrong, and I was right. A saddening warrior was there waiting for us. He was so strong. I tried to fight back, but I could not defend myself against him. But then he hit Separi and I only saw red. I do not know how, but Separi told me that I killed him with a single blow. I was wounded, but we were alive. That when my mother lowered her guard, beaten, bloodied her own squad, you turned against her. They said she was, but I know my mother, she would never have betrayed the king. So Vegeta is surprised. The story continues. She said that more were coming and that we had to escape. She kept 2 emergency capsules in the back of our house. She rushed us to them with coordinates, but before we realized more soldiers came, there was no more time. She must have known that she would not make it, and neither would we if she did not stay to hold them back. Then his mother appears, being pierced by an attack shot in the back, murdered in cold blood, and the bastard who did that was you. So Vegeta is surprised. Rigor says so much has happened since then, but I could never forget what happened that night, if I could never. So we see that his eyes are taken by a black energy, and that he also begins to emanate a black ki, something that makes Trunks react. So he asks him to take over the ship. He says, take the controls, I have to go. And she asks, go where we are flying, and he says, I will explain everything when I come back, I promise. So he goes out flying. Then Piccolo says the same thing. He says, I have to go. And she asks the bathroom, and he says, that is right, I will be back. Just stay and enjoy the movie. And the child next to him jokes that he is going to do number 2. Then Goten heads toward the fight and says, I am so sorry, Palace, I will make it up to you, but I cannot ignore this. Vegeta is in trouble, so we see Rigor concentrating all his power. So Piccolo wonders what kind of power is this. Then Separi says, not again, not. And she runs in the direction of her friend, and Vegeta wonders what she is doing, and she tries to calm Rigor, and she says, look at me, darling, come back to me, come back from that place, I am here, Rigor, Separi. So he begins to calm down a little, and he says, I am sorry I got carried away. Then Vegeta is startled and says, what just happened? And she says, you are getting very agitated. You must not continue this for much longer. He says, you are right, let us end this. So he says, and this is the problem we find ourselves in. Goku must be alerted. It is possible that even Vegeta can fall in this battle, and if he continues alone, oh Kaioshin, listen to this. This is really a terrible situation. Let us go a little. I go to Goku. Then comes a noise and he shouts, stop destroying our planet. Then Popo says the guy that Goku Piccolo, I have informed our Lord and Celestials. But then he realizes that Piccolo is no longer there. Then at Orange Star High School, we see that even Pan is feeling that Kai. She is distressed. So a friend asks, are you okay? Are you cold? Something like that. And she says she is fine. And she thinks this great power got even higher than before. I want to go, I want to help, but I would just get in the way, like last time. So we see that Vegeta is taking quite a beating. So he says, you know, it is difficult to imagine while I am here now that at the same time you seemed like darkness incarnate to me. I thought that those words you spoke on planet Palma would always be true, that I could never reach you, Prince. It seems that my hatred has been a powerful motivator. So he prepares another blow, and Vegeta is on his knees. Rigor says, now you can join your black-hearted father in the afterlife, and your mother's soul can finally rest. So he prepares a blow, but he notices that an attack comes from behind, so Vegeta looks surprised and manages to escape. Rigor is thrown back to try to understand the situation. We notice that it is Piccolo, and Separi says where did he come from? There was no reading on the scouter. She asks, what is this you fight for, Vegeta? And Piccolo answers for him, not with him much less. So Rigor asks him, are you actually an ally of his? So Separi tries to make the reading of Piccolo's ki, so she notices that there are more people. Simply Trunks and Goten have arrived at the battlefield with them, so Trunks asks if Vegeta is okay, and he becomes completely surprised to hear that this before is son of Vegeta. So Vegeta says you are all fools for coming here, and Rigor answers you say that as if it were something new. Goten comes speaking, who is this guy? This ki is insane. And Vegeta says it does not matter, so we see Rigor again and he says, I warn you all now, this matter is between Vegeta and me only. If you continue to interfere, I would have no guilt in going through you to reach him. So Trunks asks, what is the plan? And Vegeta says he does not have one. He is much stronger than I thought he would be, and can be even stronger. So Piccolo says, even stronger, are you sure? Vegeta answers with his anger, his power started to rise at an almost exponential level. I believe that what we sense from him now is only a fringe of what he is really capable of. So we look at Rigor. He speaks well, this is simply spectacular. So Vegeta says, without that clown Kakaroto Piccolo, you three can grab his attention for at least a minute. And Piccolo looks at him. He answers, pawns, that is us. I do not think making him angrier is a good idea, but us three for a minute may be possible. And Vegeta says, then I might have a way. Vegeta said he had a way. So Vegeta says, yes, it is a shot in the dark, but it is the best I can do. Where? And you need just 1 minute of this at least. And place it in the air. I cannot release this in any direction but upward. On the other hand, it can destroy Earth. Rigor just watches like looking at Vegeta. So Separi says it seems that they are already making some kind of plan. Already Rigor does not care much. He says you should not be so close. I do not want you to get hurt caring more about Separi's safety than the plan of the warriors. Bulma answers the same way, just be careful, stay on guard, and keep your temper under control please. So Piccolo agrees and says he will manage to hold on for a minute. But Vegeta holds Piccolo and says we only have one chance at this, there is no way to know if we lose. And Piccolo says in that case, it is better you take care of that, which is a true objective. So Piccolo goes toward Rigor. Rigor says get out Separi, so all the warriors, and Gohan, Goten, Piccolo, Trunks. And Piccolo says Gotenks, we will need the heavy weight for this. And Trunks looks back and immediately attacks with great speed going up at Rigor. So Separi is confused and says attacking alone he is crazy. So Piccolo says out loud this is really going to hurt, and gives a punch to the face. But we notice that Rigor did not suffer any damage. Piccolo tries to give several punches at Rigor, but Rigor simply does not react and just watches all the attacks that Piccolo is giving, being able to predict even without wanting to stop. So he clenches his fist and gives a great punch to the face of Piccolo, who is tremendously impacted, and Piccolo goes far away. So Rigor does not understand much of that one obstacle removed now for the other, and immediately he takes a punch which makes him surprised. So someone says sorry to keep you waiting, and we notice simply the hero of Justice Gotenks, who now was back seeing for the first time the fusion of Goten Trunks as adults. So we see Separi and she gets a bit confused. She says who is that and where did the other two go? So Piccolo says you could not have arrived here a little sooner. So Gotenks answers sorry old man, but it was much more dramatic. So Piccolo answers I thought I would get older, I would have corrected that attitude. Vegeta just smiles at the situation and says good work boys. So he now makes an angry expression and says now. And we notice that Vegeta is concentrating his power in his arm. So he starts to shout. He prepares 2 balls of energy, one in the left arm and one in the right. And Vegeta preparing an extremely powerful attack. You can ask what he is doing. And the scouter begins to beep a lot, increasing the power a lot. So Piccolo holds the ally Gotenks, who is also helping in the battle. Rigor seems impressed, extremely bothered by that situation, so he lands a punch and throws Gotenks far away. And Piccolo too does not take long to be thrown. Rigor grabs and throws Piccolo far away with a kick, so he falls, and this time he seems quite hurt. But Gotenks does not give up. He says, look at this, I do this. So he goes forward, and Piccolo just says, damn it, and observes the attack of Gotenks going up toward Rigor. Rigor gives several punches at Gotenks, but Gotenks manages to dodge all of them and says, come on, how was Vegeta taken down by a slug like you? So he dodges all the attacks, which makes Rigor extremely angry. So the matter continues with the two exchanging punches at every moment. Then Piccolo comes with his most powerful technique, Special Beam Cannon. Rigor looks back and just with one blow manages to block the Special Beam Cannon of Piccolo. So Piccolo is completely surprised. Rigor tells him, do not worry about me, just protect Vegeta. So Vegeta continues gathering his power hidden, and Piccolo just buying time. And Separi says, no way your level of Tani has doubled, no tripled. So we notice that Gotenks is taking advantage against Rigor, managing to land a great punch and throwing him far away also with a kick. The power of Gotenks this time is phenomenal, much superior to his old version. So he uses that technique of energy rings to trap Riga, the technique of Gotenks when he was still a child. So he gathers Rigor and traps him. So he laughs and says, I have to be honest, I was not sure if this would work with you, which leaves Rigor totally angry. And Gotenks continues, I will tell you, you were tough, but even you were no match for the tactical genius, the powerful Gotenks. So Piccolo warns Suspicious, since Rigor actually had much more than that. He shouts, stay away from him. Then Rigor explodes in a great attack of rage cage and manages to free himself from Gotenks' attack. So he grabs Gotenks' mouth and says shut up, and gives a great blow that throws Gotenks very far away. Goten fell to the ground and makes a great crater. This time they were knocked out by just that blow of Rigor, so they separate Trunks and Goten now in their base forms and unconscious. So he says enough, I will not distract myself anymore, no way. So he looks and notices something. This totally scared several balls of energy around Rigor, and we notice that it is the traditional attack of Piccolo, and Piccolo says did not see this coming, did you? So he gathers everything into a very big attack that would also leave Rigor quite scared, and the attack lands. So he says, Vegeta, are you done? I used all my ki and everything we did was. Then Piccolo has a great surprise. Rigor did not receive great damage, and he says, stubborn, insignificant, you little one. So he looks down and sees Vegeta still gathering all his energy attack to show his most powerful technique. This leaves Separi totally scared, and she says this level cannot be. So Vegeta says, okay, let us see you defend this. So Vegeta says, darling, be careful. Then Vegeta shows his most powerful technique combination, Final Atomic Splendor, and he fires his great and most powerful attack at Rigor upward in a way that shakes the entire structure of the environment, up with everything, and Rigor just watches the attack coming in his direction, and then a great explosion happens. So cars are swept away, people wonder what is happening, Pan is in doubt, and we can see the environment totally dissipated in a huge crater in Earth. A crater simply enormous where Vegeta was. Piccolo just says unbelievable, and Separi worried says no Rigor. So we look inside the crater and we see simply Vegeta. After using all his power, he falls fainted, still trying to recover. Piccolo gets scared with the power and says it is hard to sense anything now, but I do not feel any ki. Separi tries to make the scouter work and she starts to cry thinking that Rigor died. Then Piccolo looks at the crater, someone calls Piccolo, and we see that Gotenks survived the attack of Rigor. So Piccolo congratulates, says that they came out well with an attitude of no giving up, finalizes the scenario, says it may be a false hope, but it seems that he made it. Go get him from the ground while he can move. So Goten agrees, and he goes together with Trunks. On the planet of the Kaioshins, we can see Goku'S and Gohan, and they felt everything. Gohan says, Dad, did you feel that? Goku answers the enormous power coming from Earth. Ubi says maybe Vegeta is getting a little stronger in his training. And Goku says, I think not, something does not seem right. So Roshi says, it is time for you to stop, damn. I cannot even try to get close to you when you are all excited. So Goku, still serious, says, do you know something about what is happening? And Kaioshin just does not answer. We notice Vegeta this time, very destroyed. Rigor asks, are you okay, Vegeta? And he says, I think so. Then Separi looks at him and speaks this crying, you bastard, he did not have a... No, that is not your business. I cannot believe how stupid I was starting to think that you had changed, but I was wrong. You are the same monster you have always been. I myself should kill you for what you did. Then the scouter of Separi starts to beep. She asks, what will this reading be? And we get scared. Piccolo too says no, it cannot be. Compliments maybe. Then we notice a thing up high that descends thunderously still on Earth. It is simply the return of a character. Separi is scared. Vegeta is also scared and says no, as we can see his chest, his shoulder. Then she says Rigor, and in a new transformation with power, simply sensational, we see Rigor returning to combat. So Separi says, my love, I thought I had lost you. Rigor answers, sorry if I worried you. He looks seriously. The warrior Z are still there. Rigor, still transformed, says, I even thought you had caught me with that. Just my master back then hit me hard enough to force me to enter my attack form. At this moment you respect it. However, it seems that staying in this form will not be necessary. So Rigor returns to his original form and says, your best chance to defeat me came and went. Now let us end this. And we go back to the planet of the Kaioshins. There we see Goku. And Goku takes the seed of the gods and says, there is only one. Oob answers, if this guy is as strong as they say, then Vegeta will need it. I will get a seed. And says, let us go. So we go back to Earth. Rigor walks in the direction of Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, and Piccolo with a very serious expression. So Vegeta shouts Trunks. And we notice that Trunks is trying to stop there. He manages to simply look down. Says, get out, kid. Then before this, not in this life. And Vegeta shouts, saying, no, he is too much for you. Rigor simply looks down and says, get out or you will be removed. And Trunks refuses and raises his power. Rigor just looks down with contempt and says, be firm. Your son and desire to defend him is admirable. You remind me of my son if this is your choice. Then he goes with everything to give a punch. Only at the moment of impact we notice that a new person has arrived. Everyone stays looking to try to figure out who it is. Uob, Vegeta, Separi, and even Rigor all are astonished. And when Goku arrives, he says hi. So we notice his triumphal block together with Trunks. Uob and Gohan Goten arrive celebrating and say daddy. So Goku says sorry we are late, and Rigor says intruders, how many of you are there? Goku answers, so you are the guy who made all this mess? Yes, I can sense that you are strong. So Rigor says this cursed world is willing to sacrifice itself for you, Vegeta. So Vegeta says elegantly, late as usual, Kakaroto. So Rigor says, Kakaroto, you are a Saiyan. Saiyan or not, I am tired of this constant interference. So all of you at once, all for one man. And Goku answers, no, not all of us at once, just me. So he looks back and speaks, wow, he did a number on you. Curious guy, scale this guy, kid. So Goku, sorry everyone, we only have one seed left. Vegeta asks for the seed. So Piccolo says, actually there is not much sense in restoring the rest of us. You two are the only ones who have a chance. So Vegeta eats the seed, something that makes Rigor look surprised. So Separi says, your energy has returned to normal. So Gohan asks, what will they do? Goku simply looks and says, you must see if he is that tough. So Gohan and Oob, we have to go with everything. And Vegeta says, frankly, even together, I do not like our odds much. He received everything I had and resisted. So Gohan says, at this height, we are a little more than collateral damage. If we stay, it is better we stay out. So Gohan says, then we will go, but if you get in trouble, we will come running, got it. So Goku agrees, and they move away. Oob asks, why do you continue to throw yourself in the fire for him after all the suffering he caused? Then Goku speaks, these things happened a long time ago. Vegeta has changed a lot, you know? I mean, he is still an idiot sometimes, but whatever, we like him a lot more now. Then Rigor says, you are not going to move away. And Goku answers, no, not at all, no way. Now it is my chance to fight against another pure-blooded Saiyan. I want to see what kind of techniques you have. This is going to be fun. So Rigor says, I find it kind of fun. This is a game to you. It does not matter if you want to stick with him, then you can fall with him too. But Separi looks and says that one. So Goku asks, how do you want to do this? Vegeta answers, if we want to live, then we better do everything from the start. Then Goku says, it is not my style, but okay. So he clenches his fists and the two transform into Super Saiyan 4, raising their powers a lot. Then Rigor realizes that Goku can also transform. He now analyzes the battle and says, both have forms like my attack form. And Vegeta's last attack also weakened. Against two, my battle form may not be enough. So he transforms once more. Then Vegeta and Goku look. Separi too. He sends a great power, a black energy. Goku and Vegeta go up against Rigor. The fists of Rigor and Vegeta go in the direction of each other. But he lands a great attack on Vegeta, who flies far away. Rigor now demonstrates a new transformation. A more powerful transformation than his form that he called battle form. Vegeta, for being hit, falls on a rock. But Goku does not let it slide and comes with an attack with all his force in the direction of Rigor. Rigor frontally receives the attack but simply manages to resist with great ease. Prepares his fists in the direction of Goku, who is quite scared, and now then attacks Goku, who manages to dodge his attack. But he notices that the attack made great damage in the place, which leaves Goku completely astonished, not believing in the power of this new Saiyan. So quickly, without Goku noticing, he spins a great attack that lands clean on his face, throwing Goku next to Vegeta. So he says, focus you idiot. And Separi just observes the battle, seeing her husband manage to solo completely Goku and Vegeta together. The two return in the direction of Rigor, who simply stays still in the direction of the attack. So he concentrates, clenches his fists, and looks at Goku and Vegeta. Simply he moves with an incredible speed. Then appears a very large page of a great exchange of punches between Goku, Vegeta, and Rigor. And we can notice that Rigor, without any difficulty, manages to block the attack of Goku and Vegeta together. So everyone stays completely astonished with what is happening. Oob says incredible. So Goten, Gohan, Trunks, and Piccolo stay speechless. And Gohan says, I cannot believe that we can sense the pressure from here. This happens because they are far from the battle, since they considered that if they were close, they would just get in the way. So we go back to a scene continuing the beatdown, where Vegeta takes a great punch in the face and Goku a great punch in the belly. The two, even in their forms of Super Saiyan 4, are being completely thrashed. So Vegeta falls and Goku also falls. Rigor now seems tired, so Vegeta says, damn it, he is much stronger than before, very strong, showing that Rigor is now using his form at a level beyond, reminding that his previous form was already capable of defeating Vegeta easily. Goku gets scared, so we notice that Rigor is tired, and Goku says, look, we are losing, but tell him he is overloading his endurance much faster than us. And Vegeta realizes that Goku is right, so Goku with sagacity in battle says, we need to pressure him, not give him a chance to catch his breath. If we can wear him down, we can have a chance. Then Rigor furious comes forward once more, preparing a great blow that Goku and Vegeta react in sync. So Rigor continues with his great wave of punches in the direction of Goku and Vegeta, who this time kept pressuring the character so that he fatigues and loses more and more his chances in the battle. This seems not to work at the first moment, and Rigor gives a great kick to Goku and a punch to Vegeta. He is gaining, he is spending all his stamina. Then Vegeta hits the wall. He does not want to let it slide. Even very tired, he goes forward to try to finish the fight. Goku shouts quickly, Vegeta, give it to me. Then he uses the Taioken to blind Rigor. It completely works. Rigor simply becomes completely blind, and Goku gives the command for Vegeta to attack together with him this time, exploring all the fragility that was left by the attack. So the two begin to attack Rigor, who this time cannot defend himself, and throwing him far away. Even so, he still keeps his feet on the ground, showing his great resistance. How difficult it is to finish him, and Goku shouts, now it is our chance. Then Vegeta agrees and goes forward together with Goku. The two continue with a great sequence of attacks. And Rigor this time cannot do anything. Separi is completely astonished, since this time Rigor, who controlled the whole battle from the beginning, nothing can do against the attacks of Goku with Vegeta this time with a perfect and powerful synergy. We can notice Goku preparing an attack, which is the Kamehameha. Vegeta already has his cat thing. Then the two at the same time fire the attack at the enemy, making a very large glow spread through the arena. It gets extremely large and the two manage to destroy absolutely everything, Rigor not being able to resist the attack. Then he says, "You damned one," completely scared too. Then a great explosion happens, Separi protects herself, and Goku and Vegeta also from that great explosion. Did Rigor once more manage to resist? And he notices Goku and Vegeta visibly tired, and Gohan says, "Did you feel that, Dad? Vegeta and Goku incredible." Then Piccolo makes his great analysis. It is not difficult to understand these two are far beyond what they were when they fought against the malevolent dragons. So we notice a great crater in the environment, and something inside Vegeta gets astonished. Then he says, "Ready." Vegeta says he is crazy. Then something shines from the middle of the arena. Goku and Vegeta protect themselves because this time the monster is back. Then he charges his ki in an enormous way, this time shouting, but it seems that he no longer has energy. So he falls. Is this it? It is over. Then he stays lamenting on the ground. Then Vegeta says, "Please, above all, please do not get up." And Rigor becomes completely dazed for losing. He says, "Is this how it will end again? All my provocations were in vain, mother, I did not." Then we see Separi. She says, "Your eyes are with the look, darling. What are you?" Then Rigor says, "There is one last thing." We come to the flashback on planet Karma several years earlier. Then Separi asks if Rigor is okay. We see that there are several craters in the ground, and Rigor is quite hurt. "Separi, what happened? I cannot get involved." She says, "Darling, you," and he continues, "In fear, it seems that we have arrived at your limit. I really did not." And we see a new figure appearing, and he says, "I hope that through you, learning to let go of this hatred inside you. As you see, the mixture of these unfathomable energies produces disastrous results. You cannot progress more, please." He needs this while he harbors this rancor. His strength will have everything he has never had until this moment. "I have nothing more to teach you. Leave the past." Rigor thinks let go of the past is because of it. That I have come so far, how can I let it go? I give up on everything, just to arrive here for this moment. I will not let it escape, not this time. I will show him. Then we go back to the present. Rigor is almost defeated by Goku and Vegeta. Then he thinks, "I do not know how much time my body will last since this almost killed me, but this I can finish him with certainty." Then Rigor raises his power again, trying a final gambit. Goku and Vegeta wonder that again, what is he up to? And Vegeta answers nothing good. Then Separi becomes completely scared and shouts he cannot be doing that. Then we see that he now raises his power a lot, showing that card up his sleeve that we have been waiting for so many chapters. The power increases so much that his body begins to tremble. Then that energy again begins to appear. The energy is very dark indeed. This makes Separi become completely shaken. Then everyone begins to look at the situation. Rigor begins to emanate ki that even dissipates the clouds. So, Gohan asks out loud what in the world is happening right now, and Piccolo answers, "This is a violent and furious storm of ki. This almost seems like when Goku became a god." Then absolutely everyone becomes completely astonished at the sight. Gohan goes toward the battlefield, as does Trunks too rushing in, and this is what Piccolo considers a total foolishness. And we see that Rigor continues raising to the maximum his power level. Vegeta recognizes it. He says, "This is the power from before." And Goku also just observes the situation. Separi, desperate, asks Rigor to stop because according to her in past chapters, this caused a great risk to Rigor, but he does not stop and simply raises his power to a surreal level. With all that energy, his eyes again are taken by that black energy, and some tears appear on his face. This time he now is completely different. Piccolo says out loud, "Wait a second, I know this power, this." Then we notice that he again has a new hair coloration. Rigor begins to remember lines, "Do not let yourself be dominated by the power. Remember the training, control the power, take it, make it your own." Then Rigor's mysterious transformation continues, and a great explosion comes. That massive explosion takes over the entire place around. Goku and Vegeta simply observe. This time, Rigor is completely and utterly changed. We begin to see black hairs, and also his pupil changed. Goku and Vegeta are astonished, and Goku says this is and ready. We can see the new transformation of Rigor this time, completely different, coming back with his light hairs, like in his battle form, only this time with black hairs together with a dark aura. Some rays also accompany this transformation. It is a transformation that is visually quite interesting to see. So Vegeta says, "Kakaroto, did you feel that his ki, it disappeared without energy? The power that surrounds him, I felt this once before, it seems like the Lord God." And suddenly, extremely scared, Vegeta takes a great blow. A blow that Goku cannot react to. Vegeta simply looks, but also notices that Rigor is in front of him, also landing a great blow on Vegeta. Vegeta is also punched, and Rigor notices that he has no problem to fight the two. Then Separi appears. She says, "Darling, it is enough, they have already been beaten now. Please, you have to leave this form." And Rigor gets a bit moved. Then she says, "So darling, it is over now. Over, we can finally put all this behind. And Rigor simply says, get out while I can still control myself. And she is astonished now, crying and realizing that she cannot stop him at that moment. Distant through space, we see a dialogue. What was that? Could it be? I felt a sudden explosion, an explosion of divine energy, very far, very elegant. We notice a warrior who is standing with several capsules around him. Most unexpected. I was searching for a while. He was starting to think that an opportunity like this, at least now I know which direction to follow. What mysterious warrior is this? The new chapter begins with Goku and Vegeta on the ground, quite hurt. Goku says it only was a few minutes. I feel like he was punishing us for hours. Vegeta answers, no, it does not make any sense to me, Goku. What does not make sense is how he wants to drag this out. I mean, look at us. He could have killed us both in an instant. So why did he not? Then we see Rigor this time with his new transformation awakened. He thinks, what am I doing? I need to finish this. Then something comes to Rigor's mind. I need to make him pay. Goku says he is out of ideas. And Vegeta answers, one of us becoming a god now is impossible. In that case, then quickly Rigor interrupts the two with a great punch, throwing the two Saiyans to the skies. Then Vegeta proposes Kakaroto, our only chance is to fuse. Rigor grabs the feet of both, and he says, what do you mean by fuse? You mean that technique that the boys used. Rigor grabs the two and joins them, then throws them far away. Vegeta falls to the ground, and Rigor says it will not happen. He goes rapidly in the direction of Vegeta, who is completely dazed. Vegeta rapidly looks in the direction of Rigor, and he says, die Veggie, when suddenly Gohan appears and lands a great punch on Rigor. Then Vegeta says Gohan, the great kick that Gohan landed, throwing Rigor far away. Then Vegeta says, what are you doing, he? We can talk about this later. What are you and my father gonna do? Hurry up and do it. Vegeta just laughs. Rigor stays down but is also totally enraged and manages to recover with his feet on the ground. Rigor is now completely enraged. They interfered again, every time they interfere again and again, but it is over. Piccolo goes to help Goku. We can only manage a few seconds, do it right the first time. And Goku says, alright, leave it to me. We see the feet of the warriors Z, Rigor with a completely furious look taken by his mysterious black Kai. Rigor goes rapidly in their direction and says, out of my way. Are you ready, Vegeta? I always am. Rigor opposes no. Piccolo warns he is coming. Rigor rushes with great speed to try to undo the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. Then Rigor passes without any problem by Piccolo and Trunks, who can do nothing against the great speed of the Saiyan. He leaves then an enormous trail through the path. Goku and Vegeta prepare the fusion, and Rigor tries to intercept. He says no, and Gohan shouts, get ready. Then he raises his ki together with Goten. Rigor comes totally furious with his fist and a fearsome expression toward the son of Goku. Then the fingers of Goku and Vegeta in sync join together. Gohan looks back smiling, and Goten looks astonished. Rigor just looks with a completely confused expression. Then from the clouds emerges a character, completely imposing with a penetrating gaze. Rigor says no. He simply tries to finish Gohan and Goten and says, you will not interfere again. But suddenly something happens. Rigor goes with his fists but does not find anything. He asks himself, where did they go? Then not even Gohan and Goten understand. Gohan asks what just happened, but there is someone behind them. Separi wonders who is that, and Rigor looks back completely furious. But he is met with the gaze of the legendary, the incredible, the imposing, the savior Gogeta. Gogeta looks at Rigor. Rigor seems quite scared to see the character for the first time. Then Rigor shows himself apprehensive. Gogeta shows a calm expression, and Gohan asks Daddy, Vegito, and Gogeta answers, Gogeta, right, what should we? Grab the others and go far away. I cannot fight him while I have to worry about you. But what if you? No excuses. Do not come back until this is over. No matter what, it is only me that he wants. Goten stays a bit apprehensive, but Gohan understands the situation. Piccolo thanks Gohan. Then they go away together with Goten and Trunks. Asks Gohan, are you sure? Gohan affirms it is them. Then Gogeta, confident, looks at Rigor. Rigor seems quite scared and angry at the same time. They went away now. It is just the two of us. You wanted to settle the score. What is wrong? Could it be? Are you scared? Rigor is startled and gets completely insulted with what Gogeta says. But he continues, you acted like great and powerful when you were stronger. Now you are afraid to lose. Rigor gets furious and says, I only came for Vegeta. Too late, besides he is still here with the other guy. And only now the battlefield is a little more balanced. Gogeta answers, as long as he is not dead, it does not matter what form he takes. Rigor says right. Then Rigor goes in the direction of Gogeta to try to hit him. Then Gogeta makes a fighting stance and looks in the direction of Rigor. Rigor comes with a punch in the direction of Gogeta, who does not even move. Then we see a great impact on the environment. The impact comes and you question what? We just see Gogeta. He held Rigor's attack without any problem, but Rigor comes with the attack with his other hand, which Gogeta also blocks. A great pressure comes on the environment. Everything begins to break. The clouds go far away. The environment cracks. Then Separi says impossible without being able to see anything through the dimension of this combat. They continue the same thing. Gogeta and Rigor Gogeta. Rigor extremely tired, fatigued, and stressed, and Gogeta with his extremely calm expression. Then Gogeta dodges Rigor's arms, who gets startled. Then this time who comes to attack is Gogeta. Then he lands a punch clean on Rigor, who takes the impact fully, and for the first time the Saiyan bleeds without being able to react to the great speed and great power of Gogeta. Then Rigor continues taking a beating with a series of great punches given by Gogeta. Gogeta now begins to shout, raising his power level, whipping Rigor with all his strength. Then he kicks him far away, looks and rapidly manages to get to the top. He clenches his fists from up high. Rigor finds himself below. Then he lands a great impact that throws Rigor far away. Rigor lands on the ground of the planet. Then Separi becomes completely scared. Gogeta has no effort in his expression and no tiredness. He then goes down. A noise begins to come out of the rocks, and from there comes Rigor completely frustrated for being totally humiliated even in his new form. He now looks back and Gogeta asks, "Have you not had enough?" He answers not yet, and raising a lot his power level, taking his ki to a form never before distant. Then he lets himself be taken totally by his new form, prepares a punch to come in the direction of Gogeta. Gogeta just observes while Rigor in a wild way comes forward. Then the attack comes with a great beam of light spreading throughout the environment. Rigor tries his hardest and begins to fire several blows in the direction of Gogeta, who manages to dodge all of them. The atmosphere of the planet becomes different. The attacks are felt everywhere. The fight is at a frenetic and completely mind-blowing speed, running through all places, this time in a spiral. Rigor says, "Too fast, too strong, it is not enough. I need more, I need more." Then his eyes are taken by a completely black energy. After the exchange of blows, the two return and the fight dissipates. Gogeta stops on the ground, Rigor too. Gogeta standing and Rigor crouched, holding himself with his hands. Then we notice that he entered a state of mind break. His mind is breaking. He puts his hands on his head and something begins to bubble. Gogeta gets startled and says, "What is this heat?" And Separi becomes completely scared. Oh no. Then Rigor's eyes are completely taken by that black energy, which makes him lose control totally of his power. We notice that he is with an extremely stressed expression and sweating with great effort for spending all his energy and letting himself be taken by this combat. Moving away from the battlefield so as not to disturb the fight, we see Gohan holding Piccolo Goten, holding Trunks and Oob together that they will be okay. And Gohan answers, of course. They took down Omega Shenlong with this form they can. Then something surprises Gohan. It is a great explosion. Oob gets surprised and says, "What is happening behind us?" During all this time, Rigor and Gogeta are fighting a simply epic battle with several punches and several kicks and a pursuit. The battle comes at a mind-blowing speed, simply destroying all of Earth, a level of power never seen before. Separi becomes totally incredulous with what is happening, defending herself from all the remnants of the arena that go in her direction, and Rigor becomes uncontrollable. His eyes are taken by his black energy. Then he says, "But I need more," until his eyes are completely taken by the black energy. Then we see an image of Separi Rigor and Rigor's son. He remembers the words of his master, "While he keeps this rancor, his strength will be everything he has." And we notice that his face is being consumed. That color that says below, "He will never have peace." And it cuts again to Rigor uncontrolled. He says, "I need more." Rigor now goes more furious in his attack and even faster. Gogeta for the first time begins to feel pressured. He is dodging all the blows. Then for the first time he is hit by an attack from Rigor and he is thrown far away. But it is not enough to cause great damage to Gogeta, who this time manages to recover his stance. And there, staring at him, visibly tired and letting himself be consumed by his black energy, which is appearing in his eyes. Gogeta, of course, does not let this slide and prepares his great attack. Separi Rigor is very scared, she says, but, and Gogeta continues in the palm of his hands, gathering all his energy. Then we go back to a flashback on Rigor's planet in the year 732. Planet Vegeta, the natal planet of the Saiyan race after the destruction of planet Sadala. This violent race is famous throughout the galaxy for its ferocity. However, this story does not begin with war, but with something common to the members of the Saiyan race friendship. Then we see the conversation between some Saiyan women. "It is so good to see you again, Peppa. It has been so long since we sat and talked. Sorry about that Guinho, things are hectic, especially with the new baby. How is that husband of yours? Bardock is working as usual. He just left for another mission a few days ago. Were you not in the same squad once? You should come see us the next time he is at home." "Agreed, but only on the condition that you cook. I am a fighter. Domestic duties were never my thing." "Not seriously, that is why I only see you eat those packaged foods. Those foods are delicious. They are delicious," someone answers. "Are you trying to convince me or yourself? Have you been talking to Saya lately? It has been a while since I saw her, and we are not exactly close as now." "Ah, sorry. If that is the case, tell me about your son. What is his name?" "Is Rigor, yes, he is getting big, but still has some time before leaving the feeding capsule. They say he has some potential." "That is great news. What is his fighting power?" 50 is a little above the average, not a bad number for a baby. I mean, yes, but from what I heard, the prince's number makes it seem like nothing." "True. I still have not heard you are being serious. Everyone knows he broke all the previous records." "True, what was his number?" 538, yes. They say he has the ingredients for a super super elite for sure, maybe even then. Wait, do you already know your son's number? Yes, it was very high. True, well, go on, say it. Do not keep me waiting. It is around 510. What? Yes, 510. That is crazy. Saiyan children rarely reach 500. The prince's number was literally regular. But for the two to be born with more than 500 on the same day, I mean, that is incredible. I know that you never talk about him, but should we not let the father know? He already knows. Believe me, he knows. Then we see the scouter ringing here. Lieutenant, go ahead. True, so should we not go to another? I see, understood, I am on the way. And the friend asks, what is it, new orders directly from the king? We are taking the mission forward. That damned Frieza, what is it done now well? And your son, he is in a capsule in the infirmary. I will be out just for a few days. Following, I need you to promise me that if anything happens, I want you to be the only one taking care of my boy. I cannot promise, little friend. There is no one else. You are the only one I trust to take care of this. All right, I promise. She thanks. I will be back in a few days. I will ask for authorization so I can check on my son. Okay, you have already given him the name. Of course I gave him my father's name in homage. True, you are so beautiful. What is his name? Then planet 6 years later, after reaching maturity, both Rigor and Prince Vegeta were involved to subjugate many distant worlds. Powerful as they were, it was no surprise when they ended up in the same squad. Whew, what a day. The fighters of this village were a little tougher than the others. Rigor says yes, but we are making good time. If we are strong, we can leave in a day or two. Rigor answers, good thing because the food here stinks. And the other says, always thinking with your stomach. Then Separi intervenes, says, maybe we can leave everything alone on the next planet. He could devour the inhabitants of the surrender. Then he says, watch your mouth. This is only your third mission with us compared to you. I am an experienced veteran. Actually, how did you get into this squad anyway? Your power barely reaches 3 digits. She said but he does not answer. I want her in this squad of yours. Besides, you know how these cells work, 1 or 2 low positions with elite, so they can gain experience and we can cover them. If you have a problem with her, you can talk to me. And Rigor answers this, yeah, so be it. And the other says, anyway, what does it matter if she is weaker than our group? She has helped more than our commander since we arrived here. Then he says, I think you are right. I mean, we have been here for 2 days now, and he still does not have a scratch on him. We would probably clean this place faster if he fought more than just with the strongest one in each. And Separi asks, how did he get to be the new leader? Just because he is the prince. I mean, you are as strong as him, are you not? And Rigor says kind of, but it is not like it matters. I could be twice as strong, but he still surpasses me. That presumptuous punk does not even know our names. I do not care if he is the prince. I would love to knock him down with a pin. Then we see Vegeta isolated in a corner and Rigor observing. Then Rigor gets up. Separi asks where he is going. Then he just answers, I am going to have a chat. Vegeta says, what do you want? I do not remember asking for your presence, soldier. And Rigor answers, with all respect, sir. I know this is your first mission with us, but should you not at least try to learn the names of your squad companions? Vegeta answers, why should I? Then Rigor puts his hand on Vegeta, and Vegeta says, take your hand off. Rigor lands a punch on Vegeta, and he says, get up. It is time for your shiny armor to get dirty like the rest of us. And Vegeta gets irritated with this, you little one. I am the prince. I will create someone nobility treason. I could send you to be executed for this. But Rigor said how sad the Prince of Emergency hiding behind his crown like a coward. Then Vegeta of coward like you uses. And Rigor says you will no longer respect this in this squad. No classification, no politics, just us. I can tell that you have been looking for a good fight since we arrived here. In that case, why not give me a chance? 5 days later, are you okay? You are hurt. He humiliated me, Separi. I challenged him and he beat me like I was low-class trash. I could not even touch him. Our powers may be similar, but his ability is incredible. I can overcome the wounds, but not my pride. He made me feel how weak. Says, you are not weak, not to me. Rigor gets happy. He said one day to be a father, I will be the only one looking at him. He will look at me, I swear. Then it cuts to a planet, all are already gone. Are you sure? Yes, the word all members, Kaio or MMA. What a pity I knew. Even worked with Morocco and Kaio before they were good soldiers. I think the king wants my squad today from work. Then we can see that at the table is Bardock, and nothing that speaks actually another squad has already been dispatched. That is not why I called you here, Petra. So what is it? 2 members of that squad, which was Bako. I am sure that you know they had a daughter, by the way. If I am not mistaken, I think she is in the same squad as your son. Wait, you are not about to ask me what I think you are about to say. Bardock continues, it was quite unanimous. They felt that the transition would be easier with you seeing that she is a friend of your son, and having a warrior like you as guardian can only benefit. You could transform her into a good fighter. She flares up saying, you are joking with me. He knows very well that I am a member of the elite of King Vegeta. I am almost never at home. I did not have time to raise my own own son. Now you want me to be guardian of another child. Hey, do not hit the messenger. It was not my decision. And she says, I refuse. I do not want to hear it come on. I know that things do not have to be easy, but if it is not, because I then do this as a favor to me for a friend. And she gets moved. She sighs at this too. I will do it. Good. Put it on my tab. And she answers, but you owe me a lot for this, you know. Then we see the ships descending. Bardock says, you seem to know about her parents, I mean. And Bardock the sponge, no. Then the prince goes down. Then I catch on the way back. Besides, you owe me a lot for this. We can see Separi and Rigor quite excited and together. A subordinate asks, how was your mission, prince? No one answers nothing worth remembering. Now take me home. The next day, the prince began to carry out missions, making his first mission with this squad of Rigor, the last. Having defeated young Rigor so deeply, Vegeta forgets everything about him still without knowing the boy's name. As for the two friends destined, the life of both changed, and now they are about to change even more in ways that neither of them could have imagined. Well, this was chapter 11 of Dragon Ball New Age, the 3 chapters of the manga history of Rigor. The next chapter of Dragon Ball New Age will come out on the 10th, officially you will see here on the channel. Do not forget the like if you made it to the end. The playlist of all the chapters is on the screen and also in the description. Subscribe to not miss the next ones, and that is it. Thank you for your support. I will stay here and I am gone.